UFC 300, the greatest MMA card of all time, was last night. And I'm going to be going through every single fight, just recapping, letting you know what went down. And it honestly lived up to the hype. On paper, it was the greatest card ever. After the fights, it was the greatest card ever. This is going to be a tough one to top. Let me know in the comments your favorite fight. If you hit some bets, what you want to see is next. That's something I want to go over a little bit with some of these guys. Who do you want to see next for some of these big names that are on this card, the ones that got wins? Let me know in the comments, man. Make sure you click subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And like the video or dislike it. Tell me you absolutely suck. I hate your videos. Let's get into it, though, man. First fight of the night, man. We had Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Obviously, Cody was a big underdog. I ended up taking a little shot on him, plus 310. And he was looking good in the first round. It was a little slow, but you can't really blame Cody for that. He has been more patient lately, which is something I knew he could do in this fight. And but honestly, I can't blame the pace at the beginning of the fight on him. That was really Figgy. He did nothing in the first round. He was a statue. And Cody was landing leg kicks. He looked like he was the quicker guy, much faster hands. And yeah, he was looking good on the feet. And I got to say, I don't think Figgy's game plan was to do all that grappling. I think he had to go to plan B, which is a testament to how, well-rounded Figgy is. We knew he was a submission threat. In the second round, he was able to get Cody down. Cody's good at stuffing the takedowns, but his actual jiu-jitsu isn't the greatest. He did defend a couple submissions, but, towards the end of the second, minute left, he goes to stand up, gives up his back. Figgy gets it, gets the rear naked choke, and man, not a terrible performance. Hey, at least Cody showed he did. In the few times he was hit, he took it well. He was winning the fight on the feet. I just think Figgy's good. He's now 2-0 at bantamweight. Who's next for him? Definitely needs to be like a top 10 guy. I mean, beat Rob Font, beat Cody. You can say what you will about those, but hey, those aren't easy wins. And he looked good in both. Gets the finish here over Cody, and believe that's his first submission loss in his career. So good win by Figgy. Not a terrible loss by Cody. I didn't think he looked bad. Like to see both of them get back in there soon. Didn't take a ton of damage. We moved on to someone who did take damage, unfortunately. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. We knew if this went 15 minutes, it was probably going to be Bobby. He's going to have a big speed advantage, and that was apparent right at the beginning of the fight. I had a inside the distance only prop, so it would be a push if it goes to decision, which, spoiler alert, it did. Could have been some moments for a stoppage, but Jim's just so tough. Bobby was stinging him with that jab over and over. The straight right, the straight left. Just the straight shots up the middle over and over, just beating the looping shots of Jim Miller. And that was really the story of the fight. In the first round, Jim did send him across the cage. Had him hurt a couple times in this fight. But Bobby, throughout his career has always been very durable. Maybe, in the last couple of fights, but we knew those were big, dangerous guys. He showed his toughness. Came back 4 months after probably the worst stoppage I've ever seen. And ate some big shots in this fight and was able to continue fighting. So, good performance by Bobby. Sucks to see Jim get beat up like that and lose, especially UFC 300. But, hey, man, he's a legend. Both of these guys are Hall of Famers in my book. Respect to Jim. One of the, just absolute legend, man. 2 OGs. So, respect to Bobby. Good win. Hope Jim takes a long layoff. I know he doesn't want to make this, his last fight, but that was a tough beating. He took a lot of damage there. We move on to, I'm not going to lie, probably my, least favorite fight on the card, not going to lie. The Aljo one was kind of a stinker, spoiler alert. But this fight wasn't bad. Marina had her moments. Jessica got on top in the first round, was able to do some good work. I didn't have a bet on it. I picked Marina. I figured it because she was the underdog, and it was a 50-50 fight to me. It played out about how I figured it would. It was close. Marina landed some good shots in the feet. Jessica landed some good shots. Marina was able to get the tie clinch a couple times, but couldn't do a whole lot with it. Jessica Andrade did some good work on top. It was a good fight. It split decision. Can't be mad at it. I thought Jessica won, to be honest. It was a good fight, though. as eventful as most of the fights on this card, though. Speaking of eventful, this next fight was crazy, man. We had Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. In the first round, we knew Jalen was going to be super dangerous early. I figured, if he got the finish, it would be in the first, maybe beginning of the second. But yeah, man, I mean, drops Moicano. Lil bro had an I'm him moment. He thought he was the main character for a second. Realistically, he wanted that 300K bonus, and he doesn't want to go to the mat with Renato Moicano. So I think it was a combination of all those things. Strategic move, trying to pull the walk off. Everybody's acting like it would have 100% been in the bag if he didn't walk off. Like, I wouldn't go that far. First of all, there was a clear grappling discrepancy, and Jalen isn't, like, I don't want to say he's not dumb after that, but at the same time, like, I think he knew going into this fight, like, the ground is lava, stay off the mat. And also, like, sometimes that shit works. You can stop your own fight sometimes. It didn't work for him. Moicano was definitely hurt, but he wasn't out yet. It was a good non-stop by the ref. Jalen messed up, and in that second round, Moicano gets him down. I had the plus 1,600. One of the props that saved me. Still definitely not a great night, but couple of these big props definitely saved it from being like an awful night. Plus 1,600. Of course, you're sitting there. I wish I would have had more on it, but made me a nice little bag. His first KO of his career. I had several people telling me like, dude, literally doesn't have any knockouts in his career. Are you dumb? He's gonna submit him if he wins. Well, we've seen Jalen Turner gas out like he does because he's cutting 87 pounds to make lightweight. Dude's 6'3". Move up, little bro. But we've seen him do that several times, and it played out like I knew it would. He would start off early, and if he doesn't get the finish, which would be decent chance to do so, he's gonna fall apart and get finished. So 16-1 cashes. Love to see it. Love Moicano. His post-fight speech, he's like, I'm not supposed to cuss, so I'm going to give up my bonus to say what I want to say. And goes on some crazy tangent. Not crazy, though. Homie was spitting facts. But respect to Moicano. Great win. Happy to see him get it done. We moved on to another crazy finish. Sadiq Youssef, Diego Lopez. Man, I like Sadiq. We knew, I picked Lopez to get it done by KO. No bet on this one. But, he has hands, and he's obviously a submission threat, but on the feet, man, he had a big size advantage here and clear power advantage, and we knew that going into it. Yusuf's super technical. I figured he would need to get on top and survive the jiu-jitsu from Lopez. Not that was going to be an easy task either, but on the feet, he was just a much bigger, longer, heavier hands. Dangerous, man. Clipped him with some big shots. That uppercut was disgusting. Pounds him out. Good finish. Diego Lopez, man. This dude, people love him. He's like the people's champ. He's trying to get the rematch with Movsar Evloev. That would be sick. Honestly, to anybody calling him out, anybody trying to fight Evloev, respect. And I wouldn't count him out, man. I think he can finish anybody. At least a lot of these guys. Some of these guys are going to get on top and stay safe, but, he's a big submission threat and a big threat on the feet, so I wouldn't completely count him out, but that was a good win by Lopez for sure. And speaking of which, Moicano, I know him and Bobby Green, they both want to fight Patty. Patty needs to fight one of them. One of them two deserve the Patty call out, honestly. I hope they get it. I want to see Patty fight, a tough test. I think I would pick both against him. Next up, man, especially Bobby. That's just stylistically, not saying he's better than Renato, but stylistically, I think Patty wouldn't be able to take him down. He'd just get pieced up. Next up, man, honestly, good performance by Kayla Harrison. I figured she'd make weight. I just didn't know what kind of gas tank she'd have, if so. And, hey, man, at the end of the day, man, she looked great. Like, people don't understand, like, when you take a big, big underdog shot, like, it's the line. You're playing lines, not fighters. Obviously, like, I picked Kayla. I knew the submission was super live, but you got to take big dog shots when there's a lot of question marks. If there's a bunch of question marks on big favorites, you play that long term, you're going to win money long term. And it's a long term game. I've been gambling for 7 years, but on MMA. But Kayla looked good, man. She got her down like I figured she would, and she stayed. She had the cardio to at least go. What was it, like about 7 minutes, and Yeah, I mean, if she can continuously make this weight, she looked like death on the scales. So I don't know how many of those weight cuts she get. I hope they make her a 145 division. I know there's like nobody there, like big Norm, and a couple other girls, but Macy Chase on Big Norm, they can just round robin for a little bit until they bribe Amanda to come back. But good win by Kayla for sure. She'll probably get like a title eliminator next, and then a title shot after that. Don't give her a title shot yet. She needs to get one more win. Give her a top girl, like a top 5 opponent, and then the division is pretty. I mean, it's the worst division probably in MMA, like women or men. But yeah, good win by Kayla Harrison. Next up, Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. This was disappointing. I mean, this was bad. Hey, man, at the end of the day, you guys know me. I'm a grappler. Like, been doing jiu-jitsu almost 9 years. But, you gotta, when you're not working for finishes is when people don't like it. And, at the end of the day, maybe Aljo, he's coming off a knockout loss. It's his first fight up at the new weight class. He knows Kattar's got big power and he's dangerous on the feet. He didn't want no part. And, hey, I don't blame him for wanting no part of the striking. It's just like, dude, you gotta... I mean, he was trying to get to the back, but it's like, it's no way to earn yourself a title shot. I know he wants the quick path, but it's like, bro, I don't know what you were celebrating so crazy for that 300K bonus, because homie was just like, I'm good. I'll just lay on you for 15 minutes. But, hey, at the end of the day, he did what he had to do to get the win and double his pay. I never am the guy to knock people for fighting a little safe. It's just, he already gets so much hate from the fans, and that fight did not do him any favors. UFC 300, biggest card ever, greatest card ever, and it was probably, honestly, the most boring fight on the. It was the most boring fight on the card. Like, only because it's Aljo and Calvin Kattar was I a little bit more entertained than Marina Jessica Andrade. But at the end of the day, like, it was the most boring fight on the card for sure. Aljo literally laid on him for 15 minutes. There's not a whole lot left to say. Terrible performance by Calvin Kattar. He literally could do nothing. Bad pick, bad bet. That was bad. I didn't see that coming, man. That was bad. Next up, Yuri versus Rakic. Man. We knew Yuri is just a dog. Yuri has done this to me a couple times, like he's not as technical, he's not as skilled as these guys, but he's just a dog. He's just built different, bro. Like he's just that unorthodox striker. He's the light heavyweight Tony, where he just breaks so many rules. He's not the most technical guy, but he's tough as shit. He'll just keep coming, and he's got crazy power. And, Rakic was tearing that leg up. I wish he would have stayed on it, but I get that the threat of the counters was definitely there. Man, Yuri just found it. He was losing. I was feeling good, and Yuri just found the shot and, hurt him. Rakic's not able to recover. Good win by Yuri, man, honestly. Like, you can't dislike the guy. Sucks to see for Rakic. Long layoff, big injury. I don't know what's next. Some people are talking about him versus Hill. Oof. Might not be a great matchup for him, especially, coming off this after a long layoff. But, can't take anything away from Yuri. That's how he fights, man. He's usually not a minute winner. He's losing the minutes and then finds the finish, and he did it again. So, hopefully he gets a big fight. Wouldn't be surprised if they give him a title eliminator, and if he wins that, it'd probably be by finish like all his wins. And then he'll get another title shot. I know he wants Pereira. I don't think you can book that yet. Pereira's trying to turn right around, which we'll be talking about. But, hey, man, I hope he gets a big fight. He does deserve a big fight. Next up, this fight was a little bit more interesting than I thought. I mean, some people are acting like Bo even got touched. I mean, to be fair, even Bo's like critiquing himself crazy. And I think it's also just the pressure, biggest favorite in UFC history. He knows the fans are on his ass for the main card's placement. Even he said, like, I shouldn't have been on the main card. I'm 5-0. Like, you can't really blame Bo for that. That's like Dana and the UFC. Like, they are making those decisions. Bo didn't make that decision. If anything, it seems like he'd probably rather be on the prelims. I mean, you hear him talk about what he wants next. Like, he wants to go slow. And that's probably smart, man. Typically, you see these prospects come in with, even just less than 10 fights, let alone he came to the UFC with 3. I think 2, and then Dana White Contender Series, and then he's had 2 in the UFC. But, he wants to go slow, and I think that's smart. He's young. He's, 28? Like, he's so much time at middleweight. Like, he's still got, like, 5 years before he's in his prime for the division. So, I think he has a lot of time. I think he wants to fight probably another unranked guy, even though it seemed like he kind of got, pressured into saying he'd like a ranked guy towards the bottom of the rankings. But, nah, man, you can tell. He wants to fight, like, at least one more unranked guy. And you can't blame him. Like, yeah, in this fight alone, like, I do think, like I said, like I figured would happen, he wanted to go in there and make a statement. But Cody, he's a big, strong guy. He has a little bit of wrestling. He's tough. He's got a little bit of power. Like, he put up a little bit of a fight. And like Bo put it well in the post-fight interview, like, Cody was more confident than his other fighters. Like, I don't think Cody showed up, like, to collect the check. I think Cody was genuinely showing up like, I'm going to shock the world. Or at least I'm going to give my damn best to shock the world. So, hey, respect to Cody Brundage, man. Came in there and, put up a little bit of a scrap. He was outmatched. Bo did what he was supposed to do. You can't give him too much shit. He went to his second round of his career. Long term, that's going to be good for him. He gets the win, man. Respect to him. Good win by Bo, honestly. Next up, man, this is where things got a little crazy. It was a close decision. Let me know in the comments who you thought won. I saw a lot of people thought Charles won. In the first and the third. I liked how Joe kind of called Armin out. Armin's like, I don't know why this was split. And Joe was like, well, maybe because, the close decision or submission in the first and third. And Armin's like, yeah, but anyways, it doesn't matter. I won. It was kind of funny. You never see the interviewer like kind of push back a little bit. But, Charles did have him in a close submission in the first. And then the bell went on. I don't know why. Charles... it's like he had him locked in the sub. He's one of my favorite. I was wearing a Charles hoodie when the fight happened. Okay, but honestly, the decision could have went either way. But the third round, when he had him in that darce at the bell and he's like taunting, he did the tongue out. Like, man, it's just like, hey, bro, like they don't really score submission attempts like that. I didn't know how that fight decision was gonna go. I thought it was really close. Charles. At the end of the day, like when you're on your back, the judges just don't like that, and he spent too much time there. It was a good fight. Armin's super good, man. Like it was a good fight, honestly. Can't complain. I think the decision could have went either way. I couldn't scoff at either way. But in the end, Armin gets it done. I know he wants Islam, but they just announced Islam versus Dustin. If you didn't see, Islam versus Dustin, Connor versus Chandler, and what is it? Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. Let me know in the comments who y'all got there. I'm going to say for now, Islam by sub, Strickland TKO, and I probably got to lean Chandler, man. But let's move on to the next fight, man. The first title fight on the card. We had Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje, and man, I had Max by KO plus 900, and that Laura Sanko meme where that was me. This was me when Max pointed to the center and Justin obliged. First things first, man. Max looked great the whole fight. He had the fight won. I had the fight scored 4-1. I think it was the fourth that Justin might have won. He landed some good shots. He landed some big shots on Max in that fourth round. Had him a little bit hurt, probably like twice. He's clearly, had a power advantage, but Max, like, he just has, again, like, we knew the KO was possible. That line was crazy because he might not be a big power guy, but his volume, his pace breaks people. And credit to Justin, man. He took some big shots in this fight. He did land some big low kicks. Max's leg was chewed up. He landed some good shots, especially in that fourth. But Max was just a better fighter, man. He was piecing him up, earned that BMF title, and with 10 seconds left, 99% of guys would... at least just kind of, fight to the end or, let the time run out. A lot of them will put their hands up like Dana was talking about. We did it. Yes, I start celebrating, back away, circle. What does Max do? The opposite. He literally goes, let's stand and bang. I'm going to give you a shot to knock me out. I'm going to give you a shot to take half my pay, this BMF title, all the opportunities that came from him winning this fight, which he's got so many. And what does he do? He stands in the pocket with the dude that people said was going to be too big, too much power, too much of a knockout threat. Literally stands and trades, does the one thing nobody thinks he should do when he's already got the fight won, and puts Gaethje out cold like he's never been. He's been knocked out, but I've never seen Justin face down, flat, out for several minutes. Max, Mr. Pillow Hands, drops him, puts him out cold, cashes my plus 900 ticket with 1 second left. Thank you, God. Him and Moicano saved my night. Yeah, man. Shout out to Max Holloway. What do you think's next for him, man? Ilia Topuria? I mean, he could get they showed Topuria in the crowd, and I don't like to get into all this, like play Mr. Body language expert, but Topuria didn't look ultra confident. I don't know if he wanted to smoke. I just think, I said it before, search my tweets, search Cody Jitsu on Twitter, Max Holloway, Topuria. I've been saying before and after the Volk fight, Max is a worse matchup. I genuinely think Max's durability, Topuria gets tired, he takes over, overwhelms Topuria. Give me Max TKO in that fight if that fight gets booked. 4th round TKO, I'm taking Max. Or even a 3rd, 4th, 5th decision. I don't think Topuria is taking him down, submitting him. I don't think Topuria is knocking him out. We just saw Justin Gaethje. I think Topuria was thinking there like, oh, this is a bad matchup. But he ain't scared. He ain't scared of nobody. Topuria is a dog. I just, it's a little bit of math was going through his head. Like, ooh, I'd rather fight Volk again. But yeah, man. Is he going to fight Topuria? Is he going to fight Islam? Clearly, it's not going to be Islam next. So I think the Topuria fight needs to happen, man. Make it happen. Maybe he defends his BMF, but I think, he should fight Topuria. And if he wins that, defend your BMF against, like, the winner of Connor Chandler. That would be sick for me, honestly. But let's move on. Co-main event time. We had Zhang Weili taking on Yao Shannan, and holy crap, I was robbed. I was robbed a bag in this fight. Zhang literally puts her unconscious with a choke. That would have not only cashed my plus 600 submission ticket, but it would have cashed the under in the strikes for Zhang. It would have cashed the under for the total strikes, and it would have made my night a positive night. I literally got robbed. That was one of the biggest robberies I've ever seen. Jan was literally asleep. She was asleep. She was choked unconscious. And then, hey, she's a dog. Proceeds to fight to the end of the bell. Gets beat up. Zhang wins. I was robbed at gunpoint. I am disgusted. Let's move on to something that didn't disgust me. Main event, Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill. It seemed like I was on a freaking island picking Alex Pereira. Every capper I know, I gotta say, the sharp money was on Jamal. It was a rare time where I was kind of with the public. I knew that, and I stood my ground. I planted my flag, picked Alex Pereira. The unders and the strikes cashed. Alex Pereira cashes. I mean, literally one of the most I'm him moments of all time. Literally, Jamal kicks him in the balls on accident, and the Herb comes in, and Alex goes, hold up, let me cook. First punch after that, left hook, go burr, knocks him out. Then literally memes him, like you was talking all that shit where it's at now. Alex Pereira, man, Chama gets it done. Dude is literally a star, man. I mean, in the crazy shorts too. Like, I love Alex Pereira. He's become one of my favorite fighters. Just a stoic Chad, but then also like low key funny as hell. I love Alex. He wants to turn right around for the next pay-per-view. He was saying it before the fight. He wanted to go to Brazil. He called his shot. He got it done. Give him the quick turnaround, man. Ankalaev. I've been saying for like 5 years Ankalaev was the best light heavyweight in the division. The quick turnaround would scare me a little bit for Pereira, but I'm not going to lie. He might knock Ankalaev out, bro. Like, Ankalaev better get him down early. He better hope the weight cut drains him. 2 back-to-back weight cuts. because he took no damage in this fight. As long as he can safely cut the weight again, I think he has a solid chance to knock Ankalaev out. He can knock out a freaking horse with that left hook. And the calf kicks are going to be there. We've seen Ankalaev get those legs chewed up by Blachowicz. Man, it's a crazy fight, man. But this was a crazy card. The greatest MMA and UFC card I've ever seen. Hey, man, I had a ton of fun. Watched it with friends. I was going nuts in a Buffalo Wild Wings. It was a ton of fun, man. I hope you guys made money. I hope you enjoyed the fights. Let me know in the comments what bets you hit, who you want to see next for Alex, who you want to see next for Max, Oliver, Armin, Bo, Yuri. There's so many fun matchups that are probably coming. Sterling at 145, even though he stunk up the place. Moicano. Is Patty gonna fight Bobby or Moicano? Let me know in the comments, man. Leave a like, leave a dislike. Tell me you're freaking trash. I hate you. Hate your content. Yeah, it was a fun ass time, man. Last night was literally cinema. If you're not into MMA and you watched last night, welcome to the club. You are now. Insane card. I had so much fun. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. We got a week off of the UFC, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. But hey, hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Peace.